I know that everything happens for a reason, and I know that, you know, my main focus is to turn my pain into power. I'm not ready to jump into a new relationship. You know, I don't know if I want to date women, men, both. I don't know.
Oh, now you don't know if you want to date women. I was crazy.
I'm saying I might want to have a relationship with a woman and a man. I don't know.
I'm figuring it out.
I'm figuring it out.
Brooke Bailey was once praised as a strong mother, a successful woman, and a powerful voice on social media. Known from the reality show Basketball Wives, she had built a personal brand filled with luxury, inspiration, and confidence. Her Instagram was filled with designer handbags, motivational posts, and filtered selfies overlaid with bold quotes like, "My daughter is my legacy." She seemed like the perfect image of a woman who had it all together. But everything started to fall apart in a courtroom that felt more like a dramatic reality show finale than a place of justice. Behind the glamour and expensive branding,
healing looks like therapy every week. Healing looks like giving myself grace when I need to, and also, you know, making sure that I continue to live my life the way that I know that my daughter would.
a darker truth began to surface. It all began with a heartbreaking tragedy. Brooke's daughter, 25-year-old Kayla Bailey, passed away in a car accident. Kayla, a beautiful young woman with a promising future, had been posting selfies just hours before the crash. After the news broke, tributes flooded social media. Black and white photos with candle emojis, emotional captions, and videos of Brooke in tears went viral. In one video, Brooke whispered, "She was my heart." Her grief seemed real. Celebrities shared her messages. Fans reposted her emotional speeches. Everyone believed the pain was genuine.
I have been hearing her on the phone, listening to her conversations, and one thing that she said about you is that she's sick of hearing your voice.
Her voice?
Yes. And she also said no one's interested in you and Christians getting married. Oh, she sent your nudes, and with your vagina and your breasts out.
What the
She absolutely hates Evelyn and Shawnee. Literally said the word hate out of her mouth.
Brooke quickly launched a foundation, designed retreats for grieving mothers, and hosted emotional live sessions where she talked about healing. She also began selling branded merchandise. At first, the public supported her. But grief shared online isn't always as real as it looks. Soon, people started to ask questions. Just days after Kayla's death, investigators looked into the vehicle involved in the crash. They found that the SUV had expired tags, no insurance, and was registered to a fake address. It also belonged to a Nevada-based company under Brooke's media brand. Things got more suspicious when a strange detail was spotted in one of Brooke's tribute posts. Her reflection appeared in the window of the last photo Kayla took. It showed her signature bracelet, a smirk and perfect lighting, almost like it had been staged. Then came the first leak. A woman named Maya, who used to work for Brooke, came forward. She said she was hired to handle Brooke's online presence, but her real job involved editing old posts, creating fake emails, and deleting any messages that didn't fit the storyline Brooke wanted to tell. Maya claimed Brooke once said, "If something happens, I don't want people crying. I want them clicking." Those words spread quickly. They struck a nerve with the public. People began to doubt the sincerity of Brooke's grief. They looked deeper. What they found was worse than anyone expected. Within 72 hours of Kayla's passing, Brooke had already started a full marketing campaign. She launched donation pages, interviews, branded content, and more, all under the theme of pain and healing, but with no clear explanation of where the money was going. Investigators eventually discovered a hidden file called Crisis Plan 1. It included drafted social media posts, partnership agreements, podcast pitches, and talking points for interviews. One part of the file read, "Advance the redemption arc if Kayla dies." That line left people speechless. What kind of mother uses her child's death to build a comeback story? More information came out. The SUV Kayla was driving had been part of a safety recall due to brake problems. Records showed Brooke signed for the notice, but chose not to take the car off the road. When Kayla expressed concern, Brooke reportedly told her, "We can't afford for that car to be unavailable. Optics matter." This meant the crash may have been preventable. And that shook people even more. Tributes from influencers also came under fire. Leaked invoices showed that many of the emotional posts were actually paid promotions. One draft caption said, "Even though I never met her, Kayla's light touched us all." Behind that post? A $2,000 Venmo payment. Even worse, Brooke was still directing the campaign, turning grief into a money-making machine. One leak revealed she had even planned to launch a podcast from jail called Life After Legacy. At first, Brooke seemed unfazed by the court process. She arrived wearing a dramatic black veil and sat like she was still being filmed. But everything changed when Kayla's personal journal was read out loud in court. In her own handwriting, Kayla had written that she felt like a product in her mother's image. Brooke lost her composure. Outside, protesters stood on the courthouse steps with signs that read, "Justice for Kayla," and "You can't monetize death." Online, people shared voiceovers, edits, and theories. But the biggest shock was still to come. During a key session, a man named Mo, once anonymous, entered the courtroom and silently handed over a small flash drive to the prosecution. What was on it changed everything. The drive contained more than 40 audio files and hundreds of emails and calendar events. File names included Launch Sadness, Crisis Spin Week, and Kayla Optics Prep. One recording showed Brooke practicing how to cry on camera. She repeated the same line, "My daughter was my everything," over and over, trying to get the timing right. In another file, Brooke talked about how Kayla needed to understand her role as a daughter in the brand. "Being my daughter is not a right. It's a responsibility," she said. People in the courtroom turned their faces away. Even Brooke's own lawyer looked down in shame. Emails showed Brooke had hired a public relations firm to help with image control. Each interview cost $15,000. One email said, "Widow energy strong but vulnerable." Another advised her to aim for Tamron Hall and focus on legacy, not tragedy. This wasn't grieving. This was a campaign. Investigators also found shell companies linked to Brooke: BB Legacy Retreats, Bailey Strategy Solutions, LLC Coaching Collective, and others. These companies funneled money through fake donations and influencer partnerships. The retreats never happened. The testimonials were made up. Interns had written fake reviews. Kayla's death became the centerpiece of Brooke's empire, not for healing, but for control of the story, the emotion, and the public response. People believed it until a video surfaced. Hidden inside Kayla's belongings was a memory card. On it was a video of Kayla with no makeup and a shaking voice. She said she was tired and felt like a puppet. "Please don't let her sell it if anything happens to me," she pleaded. The courtroom went silent. One tear rolled down Maya's cheek. Brooke didn't react. After the video went viral, everyone who had worked with Brooke began to cut ties. Influencers deleted posts. Castmates from Basketball Wives posted cryptic messages. Evelyn Lozada tweeted, "We all knew. We just didn't want to believe it." Tammy Roman reposted an old clip of Brooke saying, "Perception is power," with the caption, "Now we see." Sponsors dropped her. Her website was taken down. Savage X Fenty paused all deals with her. Brooke Bailey's brand was falling apart fast. But the biggest shock came during a raid on Brooke's cloud storage. Federal agents discovered a full pitch deck for a documentary, a memoir, a skincare line, and even a children's book. The name of her next brand? The Legacy Glow. The day of sentencing didn't feel like justice. It felt like the final episode of a show no one asked for. Brooke walked into the courtroom in heels, sunglasses, and her signature veil. She looked like she was ready for a photo shoot, not prison. When the judge spoke, the room stayed still. "Miss Bailey," he said slowly, "you did not mourn. You managed. You did not grieve. You strategized." Kayla was launched, not lost. His words hit hard. "You made profit from pain. You scripted sorrow. And you turned your daughter's death into your next venture." He sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. All of her business assets were seized. She was banned from creating new businesses using her name or face. No exceptions. No second chances. Brooke collapsed to the floor. Her hand reached out to nothing. Her veil slid off and her heels fell sideways. No one helped her. The courtroom remained frozen in silence. Outside, the protests grew louder. Kayla was sold. This was greed, not grief, the signs read. Just hours after Brooke fainted, she was trending online again. But this time, the clips weren't curated. They were raw, real. The following day, an anonymous whistleblower released one final document, the Bailey Ledger, Part 2. It listed all the people paid to post fake tributes, including influencers, media consultants, and brand reps. It included emails, bank receipts, and even content calendars. Hashtags, captions, emojis, all planned. Weeks after Kayla's death, a documentary proposal was leaked. It focused on surviving loss in the digital age. The skincare line promised to help women glow from grief. A children's book about resilience, ghost-written and ready to publish, was also discovered. The fallout was massive. 4 major sponsors cut ties with dozens of online figures. 3 reality shows paused production. New laws were introduced, including the Kayla Bailey Act to protect children and dependents from being exploited online. The story that began as a tragedy ended as a wake-up call. Brooke never spoke again. Not in interviews, not in court, not even online, but Kayla's voice remained. In her video, in her journal, and in her final words, "I was never allowed to be more than her plot point." This wasn't just about one woman's choices. It was about a system where grief could be sold, pain could be marketed, and reality could be faked until the truth fought back. In the end, no filter could hide what really happened. Brooke Bailey's fall wasn't just a scandal. It became a warning. This story isn't just about Brooke Bailey, it's about the dangers of turning pain into profit. When grief becomes a brand and tragedy is used for clicks, we all need to stop and think. Kayla Bailey's voice still echoes, reminding us that behind the posts and hashtags are real lives. If this shocked you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the truth behind the headlines. Let's keep holding people accountable, because real stories deserve real respect. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and remember, every life deserves more than a storyline.